Mum and I looked at each other. He's got no idea, has he? Mum said. Well, he is just a boy. I replied, before informing my brother that heels look great with skinny jeans, and promptly picked up a pair of black 3.5-inch court shoes. Try these. Seriously, he asked. I'll break my ankle in those. No, you won't. You'll only be standing still. Peter sighed and sat and pulled off his socks before squeezing his feet into the stiletto-heeled court shoes. Blimey, he gasped as he stood. How uncomfortable are these? You get used to them. I replied. Anyway, looks trump comfort when it comes to heels, otherwise we'd wear flats all the time. Fortunately, we do, he smugly retorted. Not today, you don't. I grinned. Peter groaned. Right, what do you want me to do? Just stand there, I said as I turned on my camera. Oh, and move your socks out of shot. Peter tottered into position, carefully crouched and picked up his socks. I chuckled as he stood and tossed them onto my bed. What? Nothing, you just look awkward. A bit, I replied as I made sure he was in frame. Right, smile, I said. Peter frowned and raised an eyebrow at me. I pressed the button. You can't just stand there, you've got to pose. Pose? He asked. Yeah, stand something like, I suggested, demonstrating a casual stance. As if you're waiting for a bus or something. I imagined. Peter put his weight on one leg, twisted his upper body a little and glanced toward the door. I pressed the button, then previewed the image. What? He asked as a broad grin swept my face. That's a really good one, I said, showing him the picture. He looked, then glared at it. His eyes widened. That's freaky. I think it looks great. It does. What's freaky is that it's me, he exclaimed. But it doesn't look like me, he claimed. It does a bit, I said as he returned the camera to me. I zoomed into his face and smiled at his sassy half-smile and glossy lips, before scrolling down the check that it's sharp enough to use. Those knickers certainly do their job, I said on viewing a close-up of his very fitted jeans. You're telling me, he replied. I've gone numb. Really? Nah, he confessed. But they'd be a lot more comfortable if they had. I grinned. Can I get a side shot? I asked. Peter turned side on and folded his arms. He began to look toward me, so I quickly took a snap, then another as his eyes met the lens. Cool, and the back? I asked. He turned away from me and I took a snap. Cool, I said as I reviewed each and zoomed in to check that they're in focus. I put the camera down, grabbed the next pair of jeans, found a top to go with them and chose another pair of shoes. Peter took them and headed toward the door. You can change in here, I said. I don't mind. Peter paused, frowned and looked down at himself. I'd rather not be seen in just my undies, he gulped. Fair enough, I said. He returned a few minutes later wearing skinny jeans with strappy sandals and short-sleeved fitted shirt. You could have kicked these off before you left, I said as he handed me the outfit he'd just worn along with the stilettos. Yeah, but I only thought of that when I got to my room, he replied. They really weird to walk in. I suppose they are if you're not accustomed to a heel. These are better, he said, looking down at the 2-inch heels. You like them? New, he claimed. They're just better to walk in. I'm not sure they go with those jeans, I said. They look okay. You reckon? I don't know. I just want to get on with it. I've been here for well over an hour and we've only done one outfit. I know, sorry, I got a bit carried away with your hair and makeup. You're telling me, Peter said as he looked down at himself. That shirt suits you. Isn't it a blouse? Shirt, blouse, same thing really. I know, but the buttons are the wrong way around. Yeah, but it's not very blousy, I replied, removing a proper blouse from the rail. This is what I'd call a blouse. Yeah, I guess, he said, looking at the blouse I held, then at the one he wore. This one's better. Yeah, like I say, it suits you, I reiterated. You could buy it if you like. Nah. I grinned and said I was kidding. You can have it. Nah, thanks. You sure? Yeah, he replied. Can we get on with the photos? Anyone would think you're not enjoying yourself. I chuckled as I picked up the camera and my brother took his position. Let's try the looking for the bus pose again, I suggested. After the front, side and back images had been captured, I gave Peter his next outfit, which was much the same as the last, casual and almost androgynous, save for his footwear. He'd modeled some 6 or 7 outfits for me, changing in his room, returning to mine, posing, leaving, changing, returning. The routine worked and we managed to get plenty done, but it'd be loads quicker if you changed in here, I suggested, again. Coyly, Peter told me that he'd rather not. I reminded him that he's the one who wants to get this over with, before asking if he really wants to trot to and fro along the landing, wearing these? I asked, wielding a pair of very short shorts.